Right guys, so hopefully the final instalment in the heat treat oven update. Got my new elements through. They came through this morning, which is cool. I ordered them Tuesday, I think it was. So yeah, a couple of days is pretty damn cool. Anyway, I phoned up Byron, K&A Elements. There'll be a link in the description box. And explained to him the situation that was going on with the elements I bought previously. Because you know my other elements burnt out, my replacement ones. So I ordered some more from Byron, stuck them in, and I told you it was going slow, and it was going slow. It took 3.5 hours to get up to temp, which is a long time. In fact, let me show you something. It took so long that the heat had permeated through the bricks, through the insulation on top of my oven, and basically started smouldering the wood underneath. So it was about 11:30 at night by the time I actually got to quenching anything, and all I could smell was smoke. And I pinned it down to that. I mean, you couldn't see it because it was underneath, so I pinned it down to that, took it outside, squirted it down with a load of water, and basically sat in here for the next half hour, making sure nothing else was smouldering. So, told you it was a late night, and it was. Anyway, I phoned him up and I explained the situation. It was taking so long to do it, and basically he figured it out that I wanted, when I went back and looked at my original list, my original supply for the elements, it was 110 volt at 1750 watts. Now they were wired in series to double the voltage, lower the resistance, double the voltage, so it could be run on a 230 volt like house supply. What I've forgotten is that if you double the voltage, you also double the wattage. So 1750 watts would have become 3.5 kilowatts. So basically, I was running 1750 watts in that oven when it should have been double the power before. So he figured all this out and basically advised me on the best ones to get. Now the old ones were 1.2 mil. These are 1.6 mil, and these are going to be running at about 2,800 watts. So they're a thicker element, but they're also slightly lower powered, which will hopefully stop the burning out problem that I had with the old elements. But they're also a lot more powered than they were, so it should heat up within a reasonable time, you know what I mean? Plus it will prevent any overshoot, because I used to get about between 5 and 8 degrees overshoot on the thinner elements because they were heating up so quick. With a bit of luck, that will stop this. So when I'm tempering, I can just chuck my blades in there cold and flick it on without worrying about over tempering, whereas before I had to warm up the oven, let it settle down after that overshoot, then put my blades in. So bit of luck these are going to work. Anyway, I'm not looking forward to this because I've got to fit these now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure these out. The good thing about these is that they come pre-stretched as part of the process. My old elements that I got from overseas, they had to be stretched out, but these are pre-stretched, so with a bit of luck I don't have to stretch these. I can put them straight in my oven, crack on. Bought some spare Kanthal wire, same 1.2 Kanthal wire, so I can use this as staples. Most of the measurements and all that sort of electrical jargon is completely and utterly lost on me, and I can't imagine everybody watching this is going to be an electrical engineer, so I'm going to put down the exact specs of these coils for you to look at, which will run on my oven, which is the same specs as the ovens in the links that I'm going to give you down the bottom here, the British blade links that I'm going to give you down the bottom here. So these elements in theory should run perfectly if you follow those directions within those British blade links. Alright, anyway, I'm going to measure these out now, make sure they are the right length. I've got a state-of-the-art sophisticated measuring tool to do that, because you don't want any foul ups, you know what I mean. You want to make sure it's all proper. So I'm gonna break out my sophisticated state-of-the-art measuring tool, make sure these are the right length, and then crack on and fit them, and then I'll spark it up. You guys can come along for the ride, and we'll see how it works and how well it heats up. All right, so I will see you YouTube speaking about 5 seconds, real time speaking probably a couple of hours. Alright, so here you can already see the difference between the two elements. This is the skinny little 1.2mm. That's the 1.6mm. Obviously got a larger diameter, but so far well impressed, because these are absolutely spot on. The length is absolutely spot on. I haven't had to stretch them out or anything like that. These ain't even stapled in yet, and they're already sitting in the channels really nicely. So yeah, well happy so far. Fingers crossed. All right. So I'm not going to get my hopes up, because my run on this little monkey here has been a little bit less than smooth. But it's all good. It's all good. I mean, I ain't complaining, because this allows me to do things I won't be able to do otherwise. You know what I mean? So this is a relatively small price to pay. So I'm going to get the staples in, and then I'm going to fire it up, and we can watch it glow. One thing I have found is that when you put the staples in, instead of pushing them all in straight away, is you leave them sticking out, basically as marker points, so you know where you've been and what you got to do left. And if you end up with, like, you know, a dozen staples left over or whatever, you can just plug them in where you like, or where you sort of think is they're needed. But if you leave them all left out, then you can see where you need to go. Obviously I've had to reinforce these bits here where these chunks are broken off, as I've been taking the elements in and out over the last couple of weeks. But these bricks are pretty soft, you know, I don't expect them to be indestructible. Right, let's push all these in. All the elements are fitted, all stapled in. Before I switch it on, I want to show you the connections at the back. That's basically all I got. Little chocolate blocks, little connecting blocks, going to the cable, going to the elements. There's all sorts of threads on the best way to do this, and people that put bolts sticking through and this and that. I did this, I've had absolutely no issues with it whatsoever. I think any closer to the back of the oven and you might have an issue with it overheating, but there I've had no issues at all. I mean, this has been taken up to like 1100 degrees on auto tune, and you know, them plastic blocks, just they're not even showing a sign of overheating, you know what I mean? So I've found that that's the best, the easiest way to do it. Alright, just a quick heads up on that. Anyway, a lot of you asked me what PID I use, the controller. It's Solo Automation, I think it's Solo Automation 4848. Oh sorry, Automation Direct, that's written right here. Automation Direct Solo 4848. There are different ones that you can use, obviously different prices and whatever, but this has got all the ramp and soak options you're going to need. I haven't really figured out the ramp and soak just yet. I know there's got to be a way around it. So basically all I do is just put in the temperature that I want and time it basically, and then I come back out when it's reached that temperature, soak for a little bit, and then crank it up to the next plateau, if you like. So I normally preheat my D2 to 800. Right, I've got an isolation switch here for my elements, so I can turn them off as I'm taking the blades out, because that's 240 volts there, and you know that's going to sting. Right, stay them bricks. Anyway, let's give this a go. Turn the light off, see what happens. Oh, hang on. Now, this is my thermocouple. Originally, the length of this oven was going to be all the way back to here, but I was just having such a nightmare sourcing the elements for it that I brought it back to here, which is the same one as the specs on British blades. So I actually originally had a longer thermocouple, but you can get away with a short one. This is the 45cm one, 450mm one, but a 300mm one will do you. Basically, a thermocouple only measures from the tip anyway, so you don't need all that length. But I don't like to run it in a channel. I like to get a bit of airflow around it. So what I've got is this brick here with a spare piece of element, and that basically sits in there as it's running, because you take this up to 1100 degrees and that thermocouple starts to droop, so this here just stops that from happening, keeps it up near the top, but obviously with space around it. So anyway, let's take that out, let's spark it up, get some glowage, touch wood. Right, 800 degrees, obviously we're not going to let it get to that, but no, we don't want that. See how long this takes to get warm. Right, see the smoke coming out now? That's because of the new elements, so that's really not a problem. That's nice. Just turn the top right off here. Now I've not sat here and watched these before, so it could take a while, but I'm starting to feel the heat coming off that now. That's lovely. So we know that works. I'll tell you what, I'm going to turn this off because I want to measure how quickly this is heating up while it's all enclosed, and I'll show the elements in a sec. Right, all I've done is close it up there. You remember how slow it was the other day. Let's watch this. Okay, that's moving pretty quick. That ain't too bad at all. I'm going to sit here in silence. Have some tunes. Right, that's heating up so far about twice the speed it was the other day. It starts bottoming out when sort of like it reaches a plateau, and then it starts creeping up after that. But yeah, this is looking pretty good so far. Let's have a quick look, shall we? Alright. Not super massively consistent, but let's see how we get on. Right, that's at 200, we're going to come back at 400. 300 and it is climbing very, very quick. That's only been 30 seconds while I ran inside, get a bit of tissue. I'm going to pop this in there. Not happy about that. We've got a short somewhere. Maybe a couple of the staples are touching behind. See how we get on. Right, that paper went in there just past 300. I'll show you something a little interesting. Wait till it gets to 400. Let's see what's happening. Now that'll be the temperature at the top of the oven, so the temperature at the bottom of the oven won't necessarily be the same. There you go. So the paper starts burning just under 400 degrees. Now I'm going to turn this off because I don't want this to get too hot before I check out that short. Because that's not ideal at all. So I'm going to turn this off, let it cool down, fix that short, come back to you. Right, don't know if we can see this. I got two staples, one there and one directly above it. Now I'm wondering if that's where it's arcing out, because the next two we got one there and one down there, but these two are directly above each other. If that's the case that it's arcing out there, then that's a very good lesson learned. So I'm going to pull one of them out, relocate it along an inch, and then we'll give it another go. I can see a little bit toasty in there still, so I've taken that staple out completely now. Should be alright, there's still a couple in there, but let's crank it up. I want you to come on the ride with me, if you're interested, which is cool. If you're not, there's some interesting shit happening with Comet Iceland at the moment. If you want to go and watch BP Earthwatch, skip over there in another tab, leave this running, come back in 5 minutes. it's climbing nicely. You know, that's one of my main concerns, was that it was slow as F last time. But this is climbing nicely. I want to say thank you to all the guys that put in their orders for the friction folders. I'm still waiting for the nod on one of them, and the other 9 have gone. So I'm going to clear my workbench of the customs that I've got going on at the moment, and then I am going to concentrate entirely on the friction folders. I say entirely. Oh, you know, every time I've got a break in the middle, or heat treating blades or whatever, then I'll put some scales on a couple of pucks or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, friction folders are happening, but there'll still be a couple of blades in between, maybe a number, a couple of pucks here and there. I know a couple of guys are interested in shivs. We'll have to see what I can fit in. There we go. That's climbing nicely. Right, I'm going to throw this in now while we're waiting for that to get up to blowage. You'll know that there's a link underneath here in the description box to my website, which gives you direct links to Gear Bastion. Alright, basically everything you need to know is connected to that link. Alright, and I've had a couple recently where somebody has sent me a message about the price of the friction folder, or a number or something like that, which is cool. I don't mind answering you, but I don't know what side of the world you're coming from, so I'm going to answer you in British pounds. Okay, it's pretty simple to get around that. You Google Experian currency converter, is it, or Google currency converter or something like that, and you put, you know, the 2 denominations in, the 2 currencies in, and it'll work it out for you. So don't sort of send me a message back saying, what's that in my currency? You know what I mean? Because all I'm going to do is go on a currency converter anyway. Alright, it's really not that hard, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm giving you prices in British pounds, because basically a lot of my stuff goes to the States, a lot of it goes to Canada, which, you know, are 2 different currencies already. So, you know, and then there's euros and you know, yen, if they still exist, you know. So I'm going to give it to you in pounds, stick it in a currency converter. It's really not rocket science. Anyway, right, let's see if we got some glowage happening. There we go. There we go. Starting to glow along the length of it now, so it looks like those 2 staples were arcing through the brick or something. Let's get out to 400. Let's see how we get on. So yeah, the friction folders. A lot of you asked for carbon fibre, so I've got the carbon fibre in. Always happy to oblige. The Guy Mascus, that awesome Guy Mascus, that's going on one. So yeah, don't ask me about any more of that, because I don't think there's enough to go around. But yeah, that's already going on. I'll be interested to see how that looks. That's going to look absolutely awesome. Loads of carbon fibre, red G10. Yeah, by the time they're done, I mean, you know, they all follow the same format, but by the time they're done, they're all going to be unique, you know, because everybody's specified whether they want jimping or thumb studs or pocket clips or whatever. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to having them, you know, on the bench. I'm going to do them in 2 batches of 5. So I'll do the first 5, first come first served, and then the second 5 after that. And then you know, if there's more interest, then I'll open it up to another 10. You know what I mean? But yeah, thanks to all you guys. So let's have another little look, shall we? That's better. Look at that. It's glowing along the length now. A couple of cold spots from the staples, but it's glowing along the entire length, which is super sweet. Now I'm going to time this and see how long it takes to get up to 800, but it's already showing promise. So yeah, I'll stick links underneath to K&A Elements, Byron. He has been more than helpful, and he has hooked me up in a fashion. And I'll put a link down. I'll put the specs down there as well, the elements that I use. Now when you order the elements, you're going to want to order a length of just plain Kanthal wire as well, okay, for the staples, and you're going to want to order enough of it. Let me just do some quick calculations there. Each one's about 2.5 inches long to make each staple. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 by 5, so say 20 either side, 40, so that's 2.5. 20, 80, probably about 100 inches of, you can work that out in feet, I'm not gonna, of spare Kanthal wire. The 1.2mm or the 1.6, it don't matter either way, they both cause good staples, make good staples, but you want about 5 in each, at least 5 in each channel. Alright, so make sure that you order your extra Kanthal wire. There's going to be links down the bottom to British Blades, and there's like a resources link where it's all piled into one, which is absolutely excellent. So yeah, that's about all I can say. Again, with the messages, I'm going to be pretty comprehensive with these links, alright, so please hit the search button and look through everything, all the available knowledge, before you PM me asking me about such and such, alright. Basically it'll save both of us a lot of time, because anyone who sent me PMs know that I either answer within 30 seconds or 3 days, you know, there's no in between, you know what I mean. So yeah, check out the links, look at all the knowledge, and good luck. I mean, this was all welded together with like a £30 Audi arc welder, you know what I mean. So by the time it works out about a third of the price of like an even heat or something like that, you know what I mean. Can't be bad. So thanks for coming along, hope you found it interesting. If not, screw you. Peace.